Okay, can I be honest? I'm so excited. It's my first day in our podcast room. We've had so much fun featuring different podcasts this week. And this one is really cool because joining us now, Curtis Temple, he is from Gayside Stories. You get it, West Side Story, Gayside Stories. I like that. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
All right, so why should people listen to Gayside Stories? Tell us what it's all about.
Gayside Stories is basically a podcast that is about LGBT topics. It's a discussion podcast. And I think what I try to do is I really want to have people be able to see inside of the community and see not only are we not that different, but some of the differences that we do have are still relatable. So I have different guests that come on pretty much every week. Sometimes I do it solo so that I can say what I need to say, but I usually have someone come and help me facilitate the conversations, and they range from relationships, sex, news from the community, even things like intersectionality. It just depends on what I come up with that week and who I can get on my schedule and who I think would fit that conversation.
What was the need you were trying to fill at the time? Did you see this open space?
Sort of. So my main focus with creating this podcast, and I actually did create it with a friend of mine, 2017 into 2018, I really wanted to be able to give back to the LGBT community, but I didn't know how. And so the first thing that came to mind when I really sat and thought about it is we can do this podcast and I can have these conversations. I can give some of my personal experiences because I do tell a little bit of my business.
Oh, you do?
But I think that I really wanted something that people could relate to and people could say, hey, I'm whatever part of the spectrum of LGBT. Here's something that's for me. I see myself here. Or if not, it's something that I can relate to and I can reach out and maybe he can represent me as well.
What have you learned? Because one thing I picked up on a moment ago, you talked about you started this, you wanted to have these conversations and give back. And what have you learned by doing these shows for almost 2 years, more than 2 years?
I have learned that the community is not as unified as you would like. And it's not to say that we don't show up for each other, but there's a lot under the surface that you don't really think about. Like, you don't think about gay men being transphobic because we're all part of that community. We're all marginalized, but it does happen.
Interesting.
So having these conversations kind of peel back some of the layers about things within the gay community, trans community, the bi community, pansexuals, like the gamut, really.
Yeah. Favorite episode? So that we can, if we want to check something out.
So honestly, I'm going to say my favorite episode, or one of my favorite episodes, because I like what I do, okay? I'm going to be honest about that. One of my favorite episodes is actually episode 17. And it was an episode that I did with two friends of mine where we talked about the bigger, heavier set community within the gay community. So the title was Big Boys Do It Well. Right. Bigger guys. I think that was one of my favorite because it really peeled back layers of we're still men, we're still desirable, we can still do all of the things that people think we can't, and we're not going anywhere. So I would say that's my favorite.
Well, we are so honored to have you on Take 5 and for sharing your sharing your podcast. Look, all you got to do is text the word listen to 206-448-4545. You get information on his podcast, Gayside Stories, and the other ones we've been featuring all week. Again, thank you so much, Curtis.
Thank you.